tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS review from the Toronto Film Festival. So here, this film here I'm reviewing is the last film I saw at the film festival. And it's weird because as I woke up on my last day here to record this review, I find out that this movie has been pulled after its Midnight Madness screening, and no future screenings are set up for this film. So this one is called Thepeoplesjoker. Here's a quick synopsis. An inspiring clown grapples with her gender identity, combats a fanatic Cape crusader. This stars, it's directed, I think it's also written by Vera Drew, who is an amazing woman here for this kooky movie. Even if it's not in your taste of what you would expect to see out of this movie, or what you would expect to see out of that title, it is still something interesting that people should watch. So quickly, the whole backstory of it is that this is her coming out story. It starts off with her being a boy and seeing on TV about something about feeling like you're in a different body, and she really does a good job at poking fun at the way that those things were depicted. I want to say in the early 90s, later 2000s, when you were considered weird if you said it was a woman trapped in a man's body, and you would go on those horrible Jerry Springer type shows and talk about it. So she pokes fun at that. At the same time, she delves into submerging herself into Gotham City in the weirdest part of Gotham City, in this huge submersive world where kind of comedy is outlawed because of the Joker, and yet this comedy club is ran by Ra's al Ghul. It's very silly. She becomes best friends with the Penguin, and we get a litany of Batman's villains in this, while we also get a semi-retired Batman in this movie who's completely out of shape and completely funny. Now, this movie is a mixture of live action, animation, completely shot on a green screen. So it doesn't give away the highest of quality of work that you would expect when you hear, again, this title. But what it does give you is an amazing story of self-discovery. That's what you're here for Thepeoplesjoker for, along with some of the best comic bits you're going to get coming out of TIFF. The comedy here is really good. Granted, it's not going to be everyone's taste. In a way, it reminded me of Weird Al. This movie was the same thing, where it's like, okay, this is not going to be everyone's taste, but for people who like it, this is going to be something you're going to really enjoy. Just the entire story, the passion behind it, Vera Drew's performance as technically a Joker, or a mixture of a Harley Quinn and a Joker, and I'm not going to tell you why that is necessary, but just know that the way males are viewed in Gotham City coming into comedy, and the way females are viewed are in distinction of the Joker and Harley Quinn. So you really can't be this huge comic if you're a woman, because you're going to be looked at as a Harley Quinn, which is just a sidekick, instead of the Joker, and all you have to do is be male with... It's another bit there that I am not going to discuss that involves male parts and why and how that determines if you can do comedy. It's hilarious at times. At other times, it did feel like it dragged on too long. And it's a short hour and 30 minutes. Amazingly, this could have been done for me in maybe an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, and I would have been completely fulfilled with the story. That extra 20 minutes, it does run on a little long, and the gags can get a little tiresome after a while, because again, you're looking at live action versus animation again, but none of it is done at the recent Chippendales movie, or even the older Roger Rabbit movie type of skill. It is very raw in a way that it's done. But luckily, what you're left with is a story that is touching, heartfelt, and makes so much sense. Like, I never would have thought I would watch a film involving Batman and a Joker, where a version of the Joker is trans and is attempting to come out of their shell or the perception of what the world believes they should be. It's kooky, completely kooky. Now, again, I'll say the direction is really good on it. The music sets this apart from any low-budget film I've seen in a pretty long period of time. The music selection here was great. It was top-notch. I don't. Whoever did this score needs to be doing scores for bigger films. The way they splice together, granted, possibly not all audio they should have been able to use, but the way they splice it together, it really works, and it makes the film seem so grand. Even though you're watching it, and you're like, okay, this looks like something from a Ready or Die sketch or or a Robot Chicken type sketch or something of that nature. But again, the story is so engaging. Vera Drew, she's amazing in this, and the point that throughout the whole film, you can feel her passion, not only just for her story and getting it out for other people just in case they're going through it, but also her love of these characters. She loves Batman. She loves these villains. That is obvious as you watch this movie. Now, again, it's still controversy around it because, as she said at the end of the screening, this will probably be the last time you get to see this movie in this form, because most likely it's going to have to be heavily edited, and that would be a sad thing, because in this form, the movie is good. It's serviceable. It's something that I think people would like. I think heavily edited, it possibly won't be. But at this point, it's pulled from TIFF, and there's no other screening set up. So I know it was also set to play at Fantastic Fest, and it may have been set to play at the Beyond Fest. So hopefully whatever happens, it can get released to those festivals, and hopefully it's in this format and it's not changed, as actually she said it most likely would be changed because of rights issues. But The People's Joker, brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give The People's Joker a 7 out of 10. It's a really good coming of age story. It has its flaws. It is not going to be for everyone. It's going to be hard for certain people to watch. Just the way it's shot, the way it's put together is going to be hard. Some people may even find the story hard to follow. But in the end, you're going to get a really good coming of age story that we don't normally get, the trans coming of age stories with superheroes. It's just something just completely different. And for that alone, it is worth a watch. But you're also tuning in for a star-making performance by Vera Drew that after this, man, I expect hopefully she can land roles in lots of other things, because this was great. Even the teasers that she gave it in, what I'm not going to spoil, she gave teasers of other things that she's working on at the end of this film. So hopefully those come out too, so we get her on the screen more and more and more. But this has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.